welcome to virtual bedtime stories. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. My name is Maurae Gilbert McCants, and I am here tonight to be your host for the bedtime stories. Come on in whenever you can. I have a few books to read tonight, and I'm going to start reading the books in no certain order, but I thought that I should get you guys some books that are relevant to what we're experiencing currently with the climate of the world. So, my first book is going to be called Riley's Mask Adventure. Now, I know all of us have been wearing masks, and this is a kid's superhero story. So, I'm going to start with page one. Follow along with me. Let's look at the first picture. Let's see, can you guys see it? Okay. Riley is on her swing. And it says, Riley is a playful kid. She likes to have fun like you. But now there is something new around, and it has changed what we do. Do you all know what that something is? Riley's learning about a virus. It is called COVID-19. It can make people very sick, even though it can't be seen. It's a picture of a guy that has the COVID virus. It's all around him in the bed. See him? Okay. Her family is quite careful now to do what experts have said, washing hands and avoiding crowds so that we can stop the virus spread. Let's look at the picture. Okay. Riley wears her favorite mask, and it looks really cool. She feels just like a superhero, and superheroes rule. You see, Riley? She's a superhero, all because of her mask. Thinking about social distancing, she avoids big crowds. Riley shares her helpful message anywhere she is allowed. Riley, the masked superhero, gives other kids a clue that if they wear their mask like her, they are superheroes too. Let's look at all the superheroes. Superheroes show they're brave. They wear masks to keep us strong. They protect themselves and others, and not wearing one is wrong. Riley misses all her friends. She stays home and does not go far. But if we follow good health tips, we'll all be shining stars. So Riley is following the rules because she knows that if she keeps her mask on and stays safe, stays home, and follows mommy and daddy's lead, that she'll be safe. Riley tells us that masks are good. They stop viruses and germs. She shows us how to put one on. It's easy. Everyone can learn. Don't touch the fabric, just the loops. Then hook it over your ears. Make sure it covers your mouth and nose. Keeping it clean will earn you cheers. You see, Riley, she's showing you how you should wear it. Put it over your neck, over your face. Don't wear it like that. Don't wear it like that. There are more superheroes can do. When we go out and about, we wash our hands at every chance. We don't touch our eyes, nose, or mouth. So there are some don'ts. Make sure you wash your hands with soap, not just water. Use soap. The neighbors have come to visit. Riley meets them at the door. Please put your mask on, she asks nicely, before stepping through the door. Her mom smiles and says, Yes, Riley, you are right. Neighbors like us must all wear masks to come and play tonight. So Riley's mom is like, nope, you can't come in my house unless you put your mask on. The neighbors agree. You are right to be worried. We'll gladly wear our masks now and put them on in a hurry. Riley does her superhero dance and proudly yells, hooray! Now it's your turn to help. Let's keep this virus far away. See all the neighbors? They put their mask on. Now the kids can play. And that is the end of that book, Riley's Masked Adventure. So just a couple of takeaways, you guys, that I want you all to remember. Even though the world is opening back up, we still must be safe. So make sure you wear your mask when possible when you're outside. Make sure you wash your hands with soap. Wash your entire hand and even your wrists. That's important. Do that part too. Make sure you wash in between your fingers and in your fingernails. And make sure you do the soap properly. And make sure you rinse it. Make the water as hot as you can stand it so you too can be a superhero just like Riley. Okay? Let's go on to our next book. We have a book called Friday the Juneteenth. Now, this book is important because it's all about heritage and it's about traditions. And one of the things that's interesting that we think about as we're growing up and as you get older, you'll realize there are traditions that you do with your family that's only unique for you and your family. You may do it with your aunts and your uncles and your cousins or your next door neighbors, but it's something that you're always going to remember. Like, for instance, a tradition for my family and I is we get together for Christmas and we exchange gifts. We do like a grab bag, so everyone has someone and everyone gets a gift. So that's our tradition. So I wanted to share this story with you because Juneteenth is something that hasn't really been recognized for us, but it's something that we need to recognize. And so I wanted to share this book. My mom, who was a teacher over 25 years, wanted to make sure that I gave you guys a little history lesson in reading because you guys haven't been in school all year long and you've been e-learning. So we wanted to make sure we incorporated something. So this is called Friday the Juneteenth, and we know that Juneteenth is actually on a Saturday this year, but we want to read it. I'm telling you this because my little brother Jimmy thinks that I think he doesn't exist. I think Junie always wanted to be a hero so that somebody would pay attention to him. You see, he's the youngest in a big family. There are 7 of us, but we also have lots of cousins and aunts and uncles, and they all live right here in Galveston, Texas. So here's Junie and his brother, and everybody is sitting there. Okay? Junie doesn't even have a name that's all his. His real name is Thomas Booker Washington Jr. We call him Junie so that he doesn't get mixed up with my daddy, Thomas Booker Washington Sr. Junie he gets lost, sometimes in a real sense. Last spring, Junie made sure nobody would miss him in a crowd, and it all happened on Friday, June 19th. Now, way back in 1863, President Lincoln freed all the people who were slaves. Somebody was supposed to get the word out so that the slaves could go their own way and have their own lives. Somehow, the message never got through to Texas. Finally, 2.5 years later, after the Civil War had ended, the slaves in Texas learned they could do as they pleased. They didn't find out until June 19th, 1865, here in Galveston. And today we celebrate the day as Juneteenth. So let's look at the pictures. The pictures show all of the crowds. They show the former slaves who were just finding out that they had been free for 2 years and they were able to go and be free and live as they chose. But they didn't have any idea for 2 whole years. Message never made it down to Texas. Juneteenth is a pretty big deal around here. We even have a big parade. There's a group of folks on horseback dressed up like Buffalo soldiers in the parade. The Buffalo Soldiers were African American soldiers who fought during the Civil War. After the parade, all the revelers cut barbecue together. And my Uncle Albert usually wins the barbecue cook-off. He's very proud of that fact. How many of you know people that can barbecue and they get really excited about them being able to cook well? As I was telling you, last Juneteenth, we were all ready for a big day. My twin sisters, Lorraine and Lorenda, had practiced a new double jump rope routine for the parade. And my older brother, Tyrell, he learned how to earn so that he could make sure his basketball uniform looked really good for the basketball game. And Uncle Albert, he had jars of sauce ready to go over to the park where the barbecue cook-off would be judged right after the parade. Everybody walked, biked, or pushed carriages heaped with food for the picnic. Then we set out folding chairs along the edge of Broadway to save good front row seats for the parade. Junie thought we needed an extra bag of rolls, so he and Grandmama said they would walk over to the store. That was still an hour or two before the parade, so they had plenty of time. See everybody doing everything? Okay. The parade was better than ever. The Buffalo Soldiers on horseback were exciting to watch. I whistled to my sisters as the jump rope team skipped past, showing off their fancy footwork. Then the police officers came. They were all marching in uniform. As the police officers got closer, I noticed Junie holding a little American flag and matching along with them. I couldn't believe my eyes. I was even more surprised when I saw Grandmama riding along in the seat of honor, right next to the chief of police. Well, when the parade ended, I was right there on the spot. I wanted to know what Junie and Grandmama were doing in the parade. And I wondered, were they in trouble with the police? The whole family swarmed around them, wanting to hear the story. And Junie and Grandmama took turns telling. It turns out that when Junie and Grandmama were going to the store, they found a wallet on the sidewalk. There was no name, just a bunch of cash and some photos in it. They thought they knew some of the people in the photos, so they decided to try to find the owner. Here are the people that were standing around watching the parade, the police car. People had their babies out, everything. They showed the wallet to the store clerk. She said a man had tried to pay for things and realized his wallet was missing. She thought the man was headed to the playground to look for his wallet. When Grandmama and Junie got to the playground, people there said the man had just left. They set off again, trying to find the man so that he wouldn't worry about his lost wallet. When they couldn't find him, they came up with a new plan. Let's take it to the police. Maybe he'll check there, said Junie. And then that's exactly what they did. The police officers were just lining up to march in the parade, and they thought Junie and Grandmama had done a fine thing by trying to return the wallet. They invited them to march in the parade. And of course, by that time, Grandmama was tired of walking. I'm not marching in any parade, she announced. I need to sit down. The police officers promised she could sit, and that's how she ended up riding with the chief. Grandmama was grateful just to sit, so she agreed. After they finished telling the story, Grandmama crossed her arms and leaned on one hip. Just when you were going to take that meat off the grill, she asked Uncle Albert. I don't know what you people would ever do without me, she said in a raspy voice. Then she tugged on Uncle Albert's ear like she'd done since he was little. When the food was ready, Grandmama handed Junie a big plate filled with barbecue. You, Thomas Booker Washington Jr., may have the first plate, she said. So just a couple of questions for you all to think about tonight. What do you do in your family to be helpful to your sisters and your brothers and your parents? And are you helpful, or could you be more helpful? Are there times when you've had to make a decision about something that you thought about and you didn't know whether you should or shouldn't do it? How did you make that determination? What made you say, I'm going to be a good girl, a good boy, and do the right thing? And you see, because Junie did the right thing, he ended up with the first plate of food with all the food that the family had cooked. So he was rewarded at the end of the day. All right. Friday, the Juneteenth. And this is written by Evan Moore and illustrated, which means the person that drew all the pictures, Diane DeSalvo. Okay? And I have one more book for you guys. And this is written by Maurae Nakamura and illustrated by Leah Abokayan. And it is called Love is More Contagious. See the girl with a mask? I know we all are familiar with wearing these masks. We've been wearing them for a little bit over a year now. All right. This little story is centered around a virus that turned the whole world upside down. It spread oh so quickly, it made people sick. It caused fevers and coughs. It wasn't easy to kick. See all the kids? It's not like the flu or the cold we all know. This one showed no signs at all that it was slow. No shot or pill protected our health. All we could do was protect ourselves. See how they said everyone should be 6 feet apart? And wash your hands 20 seconds. By wearing a mask and keeping a distance, wash your hands, stay at home. We all had to listen. If we all did our part, we could keep it at bay. But it wasn't that easy to get all to obey. To keep it from spreading, we had to lock down. Our city we loved was now a ghost town. Do you guys remember this? Before you went back to school, sitting, looking out the window, you couldn't go outside and do much of anything? Restaurants, stores, and schools had to close. For how long, I would ask? The response was, who knows? Virtual classmates, teachers on Zoom, a new norm for us kids, no real classroom. How many of you know about this? The virtual e-learning. You see all your friends on the computer screen. Vacations were canceled, home all day long. No parties or play dates. Pajama game was strong. Some days were good and some days were bad. But through all of it, there was fun to be had. We had family time. We played board games and bake. We go to bed late and sleep in until 8. Did any of you play games with your parents or your siblings? Did you learn a new craft? Did you learn to bake or draw or anything like that? Did you learn to do something fun that you had never done before? We started our garden. We brought out our bikes. We went out and enjoyed nature, got fresh air on our hikes. Did any of you do more bike riding? Did any of you do any gardening or any planting? We FaceTimed and chatted, wrote letters to friends. We watched lots of movies until the day's end. How about that? Did anybody write any letters? Did you work on your penmanship? I often think of what we did learn through the days. All of the things that I learned, all the ways that we played. We spent time as family, no place to rush to. We did things that before this, we had no time to do. That's one of the things that I learned, that during COVID-19, you had nothing but time on your hands. So you learned to do things that you otherwise hadn't done before. We have to find ways to get through the hard days, to see all the good things, and be thankful always for our health and our safety, for memories made, for friends and our family, for our healthcare brigade. And the brigade is basically just the entire team. So you have the doctor, you have the nurse, you might have the nurse's assistant. Thanking the heroes. Like, who were some of your heroes during COVID-19? Maybe the firefighters, maybe the nurses and the doctors, maybe the people that were out cleaning up, that were sanitizing the streets, that were sanitizing the restaurants, the people that drove the buses, the bus drivers, maybe the garbage picker-uppers. It's a beautiful rainbow. Look at that. There's always a rainbow after each storm. It always appears in a beautiful form. Colors so vibrant you hardly remember, standing in the storm's most turbulent center. And turbulent means when it's really fierce and it's harsh. But here's the rainbow. And they say there's always a rainbow after a storm. This gives us hope. Tomorrow will be better. Do your part and be smart. We are in this together. Small acts of kindness can be easily made. Make a card or send a gift. Plan a socially distanced parade. I know I saw some people had a lot of birthday parties where their friends and family would just drive by and honk the horn at them. One day we'll look back. One day we will see. This is just a small part of our big history. There is one thing for certain. I know through all this, spreading love is more contagious than any kind of virus. And that's what hopefully COVID-19 has done for a lot of you. It's shown you how to love each other, love your siblings more because you're spending more time with them, love on mommy and daddy more because you're spending more time with them, gets you closer to your family and friends. The end. So there's a little page in here that I want you to see. And it just basically says, wash your hands, stay home, and don't panic. Say it with me. Wash your hands, stay home, and don't panic. Okay? Well, that is it for me for the evening. I hope you all have enjoyed your virtual bedtime stories with me, Maurae Gilbert McCants. I hope to see you guys soon. Enjoy your summers, stay safe, and wear your mask. Talk to you all soon. Have a good day.